Chris, would you, to any one of your children, would you drop one of them off at a house filled with pedophiles, leave them there, full well knowing what's going to happen, and you did it for whatever reason you saw to be good, because you wanted your children to become stronger, to be more dependent on you, whatever the reason is. You didn't cause the evil that's about to happen. You didn't make the pedophile do what's about to happen, but you orchestrated it and you knew what was going to happen. Would you ever do that to one of your children?
No, not a chance.
Okay, that's a very easy one. You passed the test. Then, Chris,
like, not even one I could joke about, right? Like,
no, that's you can't even joke about, and that situation's awful because evil's out there, folks, and it happens. The reason why I asked that, Chris, you obviously don't even have to think about that. No, you wouldn't do that.
No,
you wouldn't do that to one of your
absolutely
children.
not.
Okay. Then let me argue. Then let me pose that you seem more loving to your children than God does in the Calvinistic camp. What say you? Okay, let me
tease that out a little bit.
Yeah, because I want the listener to track with what I'm laying down. So the reason why I open with that, here Chris's response, then I say, well, geez, Chris, it sounds like you love your children more than God loves mankind, according to God in Calvinism. Now, God in the Calvinistic view, God preordains everything, predetermined everything, orchestrates it all, causally
determined,
right? So he sees that it comes to fruition. Yet the Calvinists will say he didn't cause it, he didn't perform the horrendous act,
right?
But he did it. He was in the exact same shoes that you were in,
right? Yeah.
But I would argue even worse, because he actually knows what's going to happen. I say you know, but you don't. You can't see the future. You can gamble with high probability what would happen,
right?
But God actually knows. And Calvinists,
well, in their camp, he actually is orchestrating.
Yes,
right?
James White you can find quotes of him saying he does causally determine and bring to fruition the rape and molestation of a child. You can look up quotes of him saying it. John Piper. I don't know if MacArthur has said anything like that. Jeff Durbin has. You can look up these leading Calvinists say that stuff. What do you think?
I think it seems really inconsistent for sure, and also it's very off-putting because I don't want to see. I don't want to look. I don't want to view my God in that light. You know. But then the question is, well, why do these things occur? I mean, because that's the other side of the coin, right? Is that we have to be able to, in a sense, reconcile. Now, I would be the first to admit that there are things that happen in this life that I cannot reconcile.
Right.
I don't know that man can reconcile.
Right. So just to be clear for the listener, what I'm not doing, I am not actually making a case that Christopher Douglas is more loving than God. No. That's a no-brainer. You're not.
Right.
I hate to break your bubble.
No.
And I'm not.
And this is a hyperbolic sort of scenario.
I'm
just to make a point.
Bringing to surface what Calvinism teaches in their doctrine, but I'm gonna say it like it is. Don't have the guts to actually express when it comes time to do it. Many of them will dance around it, right? These evil topics. But you can. The internet's forever. You can find them finally pushed in a corner and saying, yes, he causally determined, he predetermined, brought to fruition the rape and molestation of a child.
So then how do you I guess...
No, okay.
Oh, sorry.
So what I'm not doing is saying, Calvinism, you're dumb, so therefore everything outside of your dumb view, we can reconcile. No, we can't. We can't. Chris just said it, and I'll agree with you. There is still evil in this world that happens. And I go, what?
Was God not in control?
Right. God, step in. Why didn't you step in? What is going on?
Right.
So I'm not saying that.
With that understanding, though, then are you conceding that God is either devoid of that authority and power to stop said thing?
No.
Or are you conceding that he doesn't have, or I guess that he doesn't have the power to step in? Did I just say that? Or
no, God obviously has the power to step in. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. A better day's coming. This stuff is awful.
So, but are you conceding that God allows it, or that God doesn't have the power?
No, I will say God obviously has the power to step in. He could change whatever he wants. He could not allow anything to happen. He can allow what he is allowing to happen. But that doesn't dethrone him. That doesn't make him powerless. I don't understand Calvinists' attack on our view that they say, well, if this stuff happens, then God is dethroned because it's out of his control. I don't know how you get there.
Right, to say that
a king is still king, even if someone breaks the law in his kingdom. That didn't dethrone him. Mm. That actually gets you executed by who? By the king. I mean, like,
right?
You know what I mean? The king's law still stands. Just because you act a fool and go against his law,
right?
How does that dethrone him?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree.
Now, I got to be honest. I'll confess on air. Sometimes for the flesh, that doesn't satisfy me because evil does take place in the world. And you go, God, why? Like, why allow this to happen?
But are you making the same argument, though, in the scenario that you posed? Are you making the same argument? Because you're acknowledging that God does have the authority, that he could intervene, right? You are saying that.
I mean...
So are you making the same argument then?
No, I'm one step short of Calvinists, and they still get to go, why didn't you change it? I mean, they're still in the same boat. Plus their step of, God, why did you predetermine it to happen? I can't get on board with that.
So where you're splitting or where you're disagreeing or splitting, parting ways, is the determined. It's not, God is not determining these things,
right?
But rather allowing them to happen.
Allowing them.
So what is the difference?
Man, what is it? Well, I mean, let's see.
Because in that scenario, right, that you posed, right, like if I had a high probability, and again, that's me not knowing for sure, but a high probability, because my answer is no, because of the high probability, that is me intervening. That is me saying like, no, right? Like, my 13-year-old has a smartphone. That's something that we've decided to do. But you better believe that we have a service on that phone that monitors and blocks things, right? That we get alerts to if there's something out of line. So is that invasive? Yeah, maybe, but I love my son. And I want his good. And so I'm going to take the precautions necessary to protect his young mind and his heart.